Opening arguments in Oakland are kicking off right now. The plaintiffs' lawyers are speaking right now. And plaintiffs allege that Meta illegally collected and used the data of children under the age of 13 who used its platforms, that it made decisions in designing its platforms that drove excessive use and put young users at risk, and that it lied to users, their families, and the public about the safety of Facebook and Instagram. California State Attorney General Rob Bonta is saying, quote, as the home of great innovators in Silicon Valley, California has a particular opportunity and obligation to be a catalyst for change.
Now, in today's headlines, absolutely dominating the news cycle, Meta goes to trial. States seek up to $1.4 trillion over youth mental health harms. Opening statements began Tuesday in a courtroom in Oakland, California, where attorney generals from Colorado, Kentucky, California, and New Jersey argued that Meta knowingly made Facebook and Instagram addictive to children. I don't really care about the 1.4 trillion. There's something much worth a lot more than that I want to make sure I explain to you in this video. So today's question is, did Meta build a business model on hooking your kids? And did they know it was hooking your kids? And that's what we're going to talk about. So in this federal courtroom in Oakland, California, these attorneys accused Meta of doing the following: building a business model around hooking young users, keeping them engaged, harvesting their data, and then misleading the public about the risk. What they've done is bad enough, but the cover-up could be even worse, and we'll talk about that. And the thing about this trial, it could theoretically be worth more than Meta's company is worth. The number was put out, it was actually calculated by Meta to sensationalize the trial, to distract. And I'm going to explain to you what they want to distract from. Here's what's happening. In 2023, 29 states sued Meta. These four I mentioned are just the first in line. There are 25 more suing Meta over the exact same thing, and they're waiting their turn. For me to really explain the magnitude of what's happening, I need to make sure everyone's clear about AI, the algorithm, and target metric. So let's get precise about tech, because algorithm and AI, a lot of times people use them interchangeably. They're similar, but they're not the same. Before a company gets AI involved, architects any AI solution, they make a business decision, an ethical decision, a moral decision. They decide what success means on their platform. This is called the target metric. It could be time spent, sessions per day, likelihood the person returns. AI doesn't decide which engagement matters. People do. Someone at Meta decided what target metrics meant success for their company. The algorithm is just a system that decides what to put in front of you to hit the target metric. So think about this. Models, platforms train AI to predict for you specifically how likely you are to engage with a particular piece of content. If you scroll past something, that's a weak signal. If you stop and comment, that's a strong signal. The algorithm uses that prediction to rank your feed. And this is the part that matters. The exact same technology can serve two completely different targets. When I say targets, target metrics. Imagine this first instruction. Maximize meaningful engagement, but cap harmful exposure. That's an example of an instruction. That is different than making the target metric maximize total engagement. The same technology, two different outcomes, entirely based on what target a human, someone at Meta, chose. So the sharper question isn't, did Meta build an algorithm to addict kids? It's, what did Meta tell the system to maximize? Well, today we found out in court an internal 2016 email named the overall company goal for Instagram as teen time spent. Not safety, time spent. A study titled "The Long-Term Retention, the Young Ones Are the Best Ones." Basically, it established the fact within the company that the earlier a kid starts, the more revenue they generate over the years. So get them hooked early and we make more money. And so once that's the target, nobody has to write code saying, hey, keep the 14-year-old scrolling or the 13-year-old clicking. The system learns on its own which content does that. That combination between the algorithm, the target metric, and AI. And then there's also a related concept called unpredictable rewards. Think of a slot machine. Well, slot machines, people keep coming back. It's the same mechanism. that unpredictable reward makes it hard to walk away from. Well, when you're scrolling, you don't know if the next thing is good or bad. So it's the same theory. And I'm not saying anyone has to write code to say harm a child or harm a teen, but something when you have a company full of scientists and computer science engineers and data analysts. This is the real question. What did Meta learn about what the target was doing to kids, and what did it do about it? There was a jury in Los Angeles that awarded a young woman $6 million because she said during her teenage years, it really affected her in terms of depression, self-worth. There are other cases. So what is Meta's defense? Well, it's pretty straightforward. They call the claims unsubstantiated, and they're defending both the product design and their own research. And if we're being fair, teens are going through a lot today. And so I try to be fair, and it's hard for me to blame all the things going on with teens in the world today, all the challenges they face on just Meta. Like, in all fairness, we need better parents, better schools, a lot of different things. But when Meta says the claims are unsubstantiated, they defend both their product design and their own research, then that shows me that they're not willing to really bear any responsibility. So while Meta doesn't want to take any responsibility, I'm telling you they absolutely should. Don't worry about this $1.4 trillion number. That's meant to distract. That's to sensationalize the trial to make it seem not reasonable. This trial is about people. And I'm going to explain what I mean by that. 20 years ago, a nerd like me writes an algorithm, and there's some rules and procedures the algorithm will follow. Well, today's modern version of AI doesn't need rules written out. It learns on its own. It learns which patterns keep your child engaged. Constant, tiny, millions of tiny experiments with your child and other children to understand what keeps them engaged. And with these patterns, which it learns in real time from real kids, it can very powerfully addict children. So the real part of the accountability that I want to make sure you're clear about, and reference back to why I say this is about people, because the real question that needs to be answered is, who determined the targets that AI was trying to hit? Which person? Because machine learning systems don't decide that. Someone in a boardroom or someone in marketing or leadership or that owns the company establishes these goals and targets. What's the real cost of that? Technology should work for you, not extract from you, not addict you. Whatever the jury decides, the sad part, Meta's not going to redesign or change their business model. And so we have to take ownership of our digital lives, put some controls in place to ensure that their children are having a healthy interaction and a healthy relationship with tech. If you have comments about what you've heard, I hope it made you think a little bit. Share your comments so everyone can learn from each other.